Another year has come and gone, so it's time to celebrate the new games that brought us joy in 2019. Please join us as we count down our 10 favorite games of last year.
So game number 10 was actually a really hard game for us to place on this list because I don't like half of this game, but the half I do like, I really like, and that's Detective City of Angels.
Detective City of Angels is an asymmetric game where one player, the Chisel, brings the game to life so the other players, the detectives, can compete to be the first to solve a case.
Being the Chisel in this game is the half of the game I really enjoy. Controlling everything, basically being the game master for the other players, is super fun for me. And inside this book, the Chisel book, are all the secrets and information that the detectives just wish they knew, but they've got to go through me to find stuff out. But I'll lie to them and I'll deceive them. I'll have these options for fake replies and the truth if I want to tell them that. I'll slot it into this pouch and I'll be able to slide it across the table to them and just watch as they squirm, trying to figure out if what I've given them is the truth or if it's a lie.
It's tough to be a detective because you're not working together. Your opponents might visit a location before you and get the vital piece of evidence that you needed. But if you don't mind getting your hands a little dirty, you can counteract this through bribes or by having a snitch listen in on their conversations.
And that's the half of the game that is less fun for me and usually just more frustrating. I feel like I often spend my time just waiting for a turn, and then when I go to take my turn, the player before me has just done what I was going to do. They've gathered that information and that pieces of evidence. So then my turn becomes, okay, how do I play catch-up now and re-steal that information? But the next turn, are they just going to use that and proceed onwards and I'm always one step behind? It kind of just feels that way to me when I play as the detective. And I've only played the detective twice, but that was enough for me to realise that that's not the fun for me. The Chisel is really where I think this game shines and what I love about this game.
Number 9 was a surprise to me because Chris bought it without telling. It's way too heavy for me. Number 9 is Hellboy.
Hellboy is a cooperative dungeon crawl game where each player will take on the role of their favorite characters from the comics, like Fishman, Lady Hot Hands, the titular Heckboy, and everyone's favorite, Lobster Johnson.
Seriously, there is a character called Lobster Johnson.
Lobster Johnson? Someone say Lobster Johnson? I love Lobster Johnson. Fun fact about
No,
Lobster Johnson.
don't stop telling me about Lobster Johnson. So Hellboy wasn't one of my favorite games from last year. It's just way too hard and it takes so long to play. But Chris loves it. And I do like that it lets each player have this moment to shine. You know, you're going to go away from this game having stories to tell and really feeling like you were an important part of that team. Now, each round has like these phases, but there isn't like a designated player turn order. So the cool thing is you can take your actions in any order that you like, which really does create these awesome moments of teamwork.
Here we can see Fishman fighting a frog. Typical. But Lady Hot Hands wants to shoot the frog. Unfortunately, it's out of sight and she only has one action cube left. No problem. Using Fishman's strong arm ability, he can hurl the frog into view for her to take the shot. Now she doesn't need to feel like she's wasting a cube this round. Just wasting frogs.
There's a lot of variety in this game, unless you just have the base game, in which case, it's just frogs. So many frogs.
Lindsay?
Oh, yeah. But you can get the expansions, which add way more stuff. So there's a lot of replayability there. You even get a turkey.
Coming in at number 8 is the Adventure Game series. Now I know what you're thinking, this looks a lot like the Exit games. And you're not totally wrong. This is just the next in line for the series games from Thames and Cosmos, but they do play a lot differently. This one has a much smaller focus on the puzzles and a much bigger focus on the narrative, and it comes with this book full of story entries as you're going through the game.
It's actually closer to a point-and-click adventure-style game. You'll work together, playing as different characters, to explore different rooms and points of interest. You'll find items, and use or combine them with different things to learn the secrets of the game.
So, to give you a fake example, let's imagine you've got a can of cat food and a can opener. You could combine these two things together, look at the corresponding entry in the book, and then you'd get, as a reward, the open can of cat food. Maybe then you take that to a cat on one of the locations, check the entry again, unlock a further reward. It's this intuitive system that has everyone around the table thinking about these problems logically.
I mentioned before that everyone plays as a different character, and this actually matters. Some entries will prompt you to visit a different entry if you're playing as a specific character, which gets you a different outcome. And this isn't overdone, but it does make you think about who should be doing what task.
There's also an app that will actually read the book entries for you, so you don't accidentally spoil anything for yourself, which is great. We are so excited about the future of this game, and we cannot wait to see what comes next for the adventure games.
So I'm not putting the light one behind my back then, right? So we picked up this little gem at the UK Games Expo last year, and it's been our go-to travel game ever since. Second Chance. Now, we have done a review of this one already, so we're not going to go into too much detail here. If you do want an in-detail explanation, then just check out our review there. Otherwise, I'll just quickly say
that it's in the roll and write genre, where players will be drawing in shapes on a grid of paper, trying to fill it up as much as possible.
It's a delightful and relaxing game that does get a little bit exciting at the end because you're so close to filling in your whole grid and you just don't know what shape is going to come out next.
Coming in at number 6 is Silver and Gold, and it has the best pens in any game.
This is another roll and write game where players will be filling in islands using Tetris-like shapes.
So, just like Second Chance, we have already done a review for this game, which you can check out here. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it now, but the reason it comes above Second Chance for us in this list is that it's just a bit more of a game here. Yeah, you're still filling in these shapes into these grids, but when it comes to the scoring, there's just a bit more with the coins and the palm trees that makes it feel more strategic and like you're actually solving a puzzle. Whenever Lindsay and I go to the disco parties, my friends always make fun of the way she dances. What I have to say to those people is,
Letter Jam. The company behind some of our other favorites like Codenames and Trap Words has brought us a new word game to add to our collection.
This is a game about giving the best possible clues to help players figure out what letters are in their secret word. The problem is, there are very few perfect clues to help you do this.
This game is way more mentally taxing than any of the other word games that we own. Like, when you finish Codenames, everyone just wants to play again and again. But when you finish a game of Letter Jam, you kind of feel like you've just run a marathon. But it is so rewarding. It feels great to be the person that provided the clue that helped that player identify what that letter was in their word. And I can see myself always coming back to this game and definitely recommending it to anybody that's interested in just a step up in complexity in their word games.
Number 4 mixes a little bit of a detective game, a little bit of a word game, a little bit of a hidden traitor game, and it is a whole lot of our kind of game. Detective Club.
This reminds us a lot of games like Spyfall and The Chameleon, which we love, except for obviously adding in these beautifully abstract cards. And honestly, I think this is the best of this type of game. And a big reason for that is that the traitor player gets to hear the word before they have to justify these weird choices of cards. You get that moment to think about why this could work and then make a compelling argument, and so often the other players will be stumped as to who the traitor could be. And it's hilarious when they eventually pile on the wrong player because they just thought a bit too hard about an idea and went in too deep on it. It doesn't have the same stresses as the other games that we've mentioned, and you'll be genuinely happy for your friends when they do fool you.
Just like its gameplay, this next game's placement on the list is very fitting. Team 3 comes in at number 3.
We knew after just one demo game at the UK Games Expo that this would make our top 10 games of the year. From the first game, we could feel the magic that this game has to offer. Now, if you aren't familiar, 3 people must work together to build a simple structure based on a blueprint card. The catch, however, is that the one that builds the structure can't see anything, and the one giving the directions can't speak. So, you need the third player to interpret hand gestures and bizarre motions and relay those instructions to the builder.
Sounds easy, right? Oh no. The first time that we played this game, I was giving clues to Chris, who couldn't see, and saying to him, "Oh, just pick up the blue one." But eventually you do get into the groove of how to play the game, and all of you do become like one well-oiled machine. It's just harmonious. There's very few experiences like this to be had from any of the other games in our collection, and everyone that we've played this with has agreed that if you're playing it once, you might as well play it 3 times, because everyone's going to want to try each of the different roles.
So, Marvel Champions. Where do I even start with this game? Easily, for me, this is my number 1 game of 2019, and I say that very confidently because it's also my favourite game ever. It's taken that top spot. It just nails everything, nails the gameplay right through to the theme.
I've read comics on and off for most of my life, and I've always been drawn to Marvel. This game has taken a subject matter that I love, and it's turned it into an extremely well-designed game. You pick a hero to play as, and then you pair them with an aspect. Do you want to play as Iron Man while protecting your friends? Go for it. Or do you want to get more in the villain's face with him? Go aggressive with aggression.
This idea of pairing your hero with a certain aspect is where this game really shines. It opens up so much customization so you can play exactly how you want to play. And I'm not going to get too bogged down in the gameplay of it because we're definitely doing a review of this game, but I do just want to mention that because it's a living card game, more and more content is going to continually come out every single month, which means that the card pools are just going to grow, and so the customization that this game offers is going to eventually be almost limitless. Marvel Champions also offers incredible moments that really make you feel like the hero you're playing as. Just the other day in one of our games, Lindsay was playing as the hero Miss Marvel. She drew a card from the bad guy deck, and it was the Scorpion. He was striking from the shadows. I was Captain America, and I was able to jump in, defend the attack for her, and then on her turn, she embiggened her fists, punched him, knocked him out in one hit, sent him back to the trash where he belongs. And it felt like something you could actually read in the comics. Honestly, I've nothing bad to say about this game. Other than Sentinels of the Multiverse, this is the only game that I've ever enhanced with things like sleeves and homemade dividers. The gameplay feels great, the rules are thematic and fun, it just works. If you have any interest in any of the stuff I've talked about with this game, I would highly recommend that you check it out.
And here it is, our favorite game of the year, coming to us from the Beyond.
Ooh.
Paranormal Detectives.
In Paranormal Detectives, players will gather information to be the first to solve a mysterious death. One player will be the ghost of the victim looking to help by offering clues and answers to questions. Basically, any question can be asked, even something as simple as, who killed you? But the ghost is torn between our world and the world beyond, so maybe they can only answer with a noise, or by using someone else's hand to draw a picture. Once a player can correctly guess the who, why, where, how, and weapon, then the ghost can finally rest.
As you can see, this box has already seen a lot of love. That's because we've brought it with us everywhere, because we want to play it with everyone. It's kind of a strange game because it seems like it ought to be cooperative, and there are some rules for that in the box, but it is really fun even though it isn't cooperative. I mean, nobody really cares whether they win or not, and the winner is just happy that everyone had fun. I mean, honestly, I can't remember which games of these I've won and lost. You'll just want to keep playing over and over just so you can see what other mysteries there are inside this box, regardless of if you win or not. And you'll definitely want to try being the ghost because you get fun little mini games like, how do I use these 2 ropes to tell them I was killed by an avalanche? Like so many of the other games on this list, we're not going to go into too much detail because we will eventually do a review of this game, but I can absolutely say that Paranormal Detective has earned the #1 spot on this list. And we will keep playing this game for as long as Lucky Duck continue to make content.
So thank you so much for joining us while we counted down our top 10 games of 2019. There were so many incredible releases last year, and we've barely even scratched the surface of what came out. So let us know what your favourite games were last year.
And if you're interested, you could see some of our favorite games from previous years. So you could check out our list of top 10 games of 2018 or top 10 games of all time, although that probably needs updating.
Yeah, probably. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos from us. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon.
Bye!